Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Miss Barham. I teach 4th grade. It's nice to see you guys this morning. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how backwards design can aid the PLC process. I know this year we implemented PLCs, and if you're like me, I didn't really know what a PLC was, how to implement it, what I was doing. So this is going to give you some steps to do your PLC meetings. All right. As a result of this PD, you'll be able to identify best practices for backwards design and then analyze that data effectively during your PLC meetings. And if you look on your desk, I have just some background information for you guys to look over while I'm going over the presentation. It just gives some information for you guys, and it will be shared to you guys after the meeting in a drive because you know we love to save paper. Yeah. All right, so what is backwards design? It's planning backwards. So you're gonna look at the curriculum standards and the question stems. If we're asking kids questions about something that they're not used to the verbiage of it, they may get it wrong on the test. So when the curriculum guide gives you those question stems, it's beneficial to use them. So for example, question stems for reading might say something like, what's the best summary of paragraph 4? How did the character's feelings change from the beginning of the story up until paragraph 10? If you're not giving the students lessons on that, when they see that on the test, they're just gonna rush A, B, C. They're not gonna really read. So it's important to always look at the standards and the question stems. Also, with backwards design, you and your team can come together to make common assessments. And this year, I know it hasn't been available ahead of time, but they are working to have district unit tests that you can see the test ahead of time. You can see the standards that they're giving you. You can see how many questions they may have in that area. That way you can better plan. I know you guys don't want to waste 3 days doing something that they only ask 2 questions on. So it'll help you better plan your lessons. And then at the end, you get your lesson plans. All right. So with backwards design, you always identify your desired results. That's always what students should know. You review those curricular expectations, and then you look at the teacher and the student interests. So what interests the students? Do they like review games? Do they like hands-on activities? I know I personally don't like handouts given every single day. That's not how I learn, so that's not how your students will learn. And then you're going to determine the acceptable evidence. So what kind of assessment measures are you doing? Are you doing a lot of informal? Are you doing a lot of formal assessments? Are you doing exit tickets? Are you reviewing those exit tickets? So those are just some things to think about. And then plan learning experiences and instruction. So what activities are you giving your students? Are you doing small groups? Are you rotating those activities that you're doing with your students? And what materials and resources will you use to accomplish those goals? All right. Just a show of hands, prior to this year, who knew what a PLC was? Who didn't? All right, so it's like half and half. I was one of the people who did not know what a PLC was. I'm still working on fine-tuning, as Dr. Walden would say, the PLC process. But what it is teams who respond to the data that they're given. It is not just talking about what are we going to do for Halloween or the fall festival. It's when you're looking at data. It's a difference between a PLC meeting and a staff meeting, which I think in the beginning I was confusing. It's an ongoing process and it helps to improve student learning. So, students learn by doing, right? So today we're going to be doing. Yay! All right, we have a data mystery to solve. So the problem is, the results of a common unit test are available. The teachers use backwards design, but teachers need help looking at the data effectively in their PLC. So your task is to look at the data from a math test, then with your team, analyze the data in an example PLC meeting. So if you guys look in your folders, you'll be working in the cluster groups that you're in. And it's blue. It has data from teacher A, it has data from teacher B, from a common test, and then it gives you some background knowledge on those 2 teachers. So it says what teacher A did to teach 4.4a, what teacher B did to teach it. And then you can look at the students' data as well. So I want you guys to get to just peruse the document really quickly. And then you will also see an example PLC meeting agenda. So looking at the data in your PLCs, this is an example of how you can analyze that data. So at your team, I want you guys to pick who will be a facilitator, a note taker, and a timekeeper.
I'm a timekeeper.
And just write it down.
What's the time?
Huh?
What is the time?
The time for the activity? We got like 10 minutes. Alright, so if you're a timer, since this is a staff meeting, I want to limit it to 8 to 10 minutes, so let's do 8 minutes, just so we can learn the process a little better. You're going to tell the members present what unit or standards it was, and then for teachers, in the comment, in the boxes, teacher A, teacher B, overall student performance. And then these are just examples of some types of questions you can ask in your PLC meeting. I know with me, have you ever had an example where when you got the data back, one teacher may have did better on a standard than another? So in the PLC meetings, ask that teacher what they did. What strategies did you use to teach that lesson, so when you reteach it, it'll be better. So time starts now. Try to fill in as much as you can on the document and look at that data.
Sorry, that's foreign language to me. It's gonna be on you guys. I'm sure it's foreign language for her also.
Can we write on this part?
I do.
You can write on the document. And there's sticky notes you can use and highlighters.
Do you want to sit here and analyze it? Average? Yeah, the first school. Oh, that's so. This is something they already did this year. I'm searching the wrong one. Is this from this year?
So this like division.
Fourth grade.
The biggest difference is three.
My opinion is very simple.
Better than my 40. Highest performing standard for A.
But this one is a 20-point difference. So she needs to find out what teacher A did for that standard 4.4B and figure out how she taught it.
So that standard, which was, let's see what it was.
Lowest performing standard. This one for lowest 60.
So that was the meaning of equality in the equation. This is A and B, yeah.
Timmy, do you mind if I go get this?
Across all classes.
Well, there's no hundreds in this one. Oh, that's the average anyway, so.
They
It wasn't like a
kind of
consecutive.
struggled with equality.
Are you just looking at the overall average?
Yeah. That the students struggled with across all classes. Like they didn't score super high on equality. 4.16.
Which teacher in your PLC had the highest performance on the standards? How did they teach them to their students?
I think we got like 5 minutes left. Okay. Definitely make that up better.
Teacher A had a higher average.
How can you tell how she taught it though?
That is a good question.
But she's
That is
the-
a good question. That's a great question.
Oh, these are the. Weekly facts. So it's from the year, I think. Weekly fact quizzes? Yeah. All right. Oh, yes, right. Yeah. And
I guess what they could spend the most time talking about was like 4.6 Yeah, I mean, that's hands-on stuff.
yeah, we thought. Yeah. We cracked the code, Barham. Barham, we cracked the code.
Cracked it?
Yeah.
What is the code that you cracked? Yes, that's what it is.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Check y'all out. All right, how good are we on time? 2 minutes? Okay. Did you guys crack the code?
We did.
Ooh, you guys are looking at the students too, identifying them. Other groups are doing that too.
It's being recorded.
Yeah.
Just like all the organization and pulling from resources to be very systematic and efficient. And you are
I have to record it for class to say I actually did it.
What a great lesson.
Thank you.
Set up.
60 seconds.
All right, 60 seconds. Wrap it up. If you have any questions, put it on the sticky notes. Anything you want to add, you can put them on the sticky notes at your table.
They did, they both integrated technology,
Mm-hmm.
and they both had the,
Over to you. Oh, totally. All right, guys, it is time. I walked around just to see the discussions, and they were great. So, our mission was to respond to the data with our example PLC meeting agenda. So I saw a lot of you guys just writing on it, taking notes. That's exactly what you do at a PLC meeting. It's a working document. You can use, you can print handouts of it where you guys can actually write on it. Or if you guys prefer to do it electronically, it will be available on the drive. All right, so what did the data reveal? Can someone just raise their hand and tell me what the data revealed when they were looking at it? Any brave souls?
Overall, teacher A performed better.
All right,
Or
overall.
I should say her students performed better. I should say the teacher.
Yes, I like that. It's all about student data and how they are learning. Anything else?
On one particular SOL, there was about a 20% difference, but they also, the teacher, where the class performed better, used exit tickets, whereas the other teacher didn't.
Yes. So that's also important when you're at the PLC meeting to discuss, what did you do to teach that standard? How are you monitoring student data? Did you have a chart? Did you have a plan? Anything else? I'll take one more comment. Yes.
Finding a small group remediation was the major difference between teacher A and teacher B.
Yep,
So that
it was
just-
the same test, good job. I'm sorry I cut you off. Yeah. Keep going. Alright. So, as a team, tell one thing you noticed about teacher A, one thing about teacher B, and one thing you noticed about both teacher A and teacher B during their instruction. I'm gonna give you guys about 30 seconds just to talk as a team.
Well, teacher A
Give me 5 seconds.
did
In
small
group
group, which
A,
definitely made the
only
biggest
5 need remediation, whereas in group B, there are 8 people, 8 remediation.
Tell one thing you noticed about. They both incorporated more. Isn't that what DMR means?
I'm gonna have you repeat that.
Yes,
Okay.
right, oh, so it'll be on tape, okay.
I'm answering your question.
Yes, you are. Alright, Mr. Sigler would like to share. Go ahead, Mr. Sigler.
I yield to the gentleman from, Virginia.
We just said that, under 4.4B, only 5 would need remediation for teacher A and 14 would need it for teacher B, so they may want to get together and
Yes.
work the group.
And that is great because we have after school remediation.
Shameless plug, shameless plug.
Alright, so as we come to a close, what is one thing you learned about the PLC process? And how was the example meeting beneficial for you guys? Did it clear up anything?
Yes.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I want to turn it back over to Dr. Walton.